I think I already know the answer to this, but I have to ask.
Hmm.
Did you feel the energy?
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you feel the power of the
Yeah.
energy?
Yeah.
The best way I can describe it is that I was the energy. Um, you know how that omnipresent thing has been like creeping in more and more and more? Um, I felt it all. I experienced it all, is the best way I can put it into human words. Like I was aware of the words, I was aware of the communication, I was the words in the communication, and I was the energy and the consciousness of the words. That's the best way I can describe it.
Well, that's
And
all encompassing. What else is there? You felt it all, experienced it all.
thank you for saying that. Yeah, that brings clarity. Yeah. Um, right when you started saying that, what I was being told and reminded of is that everything is energy and everything is consciousness,
Hmm.
right? And so it's not the verbiage, and this goes back to the publishing of Soul Code. It's not the verbiage, it's the energy.
Hmm.
It's the energy, it's the consciousness of the energy. And that it's important that it's explained, that don't worry about understanding the words, just
Hmm.
have the intention to merge with the consciousness and the energy, because we are consciousness and energy.
Hmm.
It's the undoing of the human speech, outward communication that has taken over, that none of us came in with. We came in with the remembrance. We came in with the energy. And it goes back to what they said again years ago, right from the beginning. Humanity has it all wrong. What is being labeled the birth is actually the death, and what is labeled the death is actually the birth. You know, it's again the inversion, it's the
Hmm.
flipping of the poles. We are going back to pure consciousness. We're in the undoing.
Hmm.
We're in the purging and the releasing and the letting go and the connecting as consciousness, the merging as the truth of us as divine crystalline spheres that they so lovingly, led us to step by step, you know.
This goes back to when you were in the channeling where you were talking about that the soul frequency of a group of people would hit a certain point that it would combust and then ascend into another dimension.
Hmm.
Carl, and you just said that Jesus was the first one to do it. Carl used to teach that after Jesus died, and 3 days later,
Hmm.
since he was a master of frequency, because that's what he did when he changed the water to wine, He walked through the containers and changed the frequency of the molecules, their vibration from water to wine, and that's how it.
Wasn't in his body. He didn't
Huh?
feel it.
Well, no, I know that, but the point is
Oh,
that
okay.
when he died, he had his soul re-enter his body. This is what Carl taught, and he would speed up the molecules of the body. And he said they speed it up to the point of the speed of light, and then there was an explosion, and his body ascended into another frequency.
That's correct.
So, in a sense, that is describing the same process you've been talking about more from a physical point of view. But basically, it's the same process of it hitting a certain frequency and ascending, combusting and ascending.
Yes. Yes. And what's being explained is that, again, throughout evolution, in the way that that was explained to Carl, and this is why it was expressed months ago, is something about that where I'm connecting is from a different space time than where Carl was.
Mm-hmm.
And this answers that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Susan, do you remember that you used to
That which was just explained at that time of evolution, and the way that it was perceived to the human consciousness, that Jesus ascended out of his body to the heavens, is part of the evolutionary process. However, the times of evolution that we are now in, the ascending again of the splitting and dividing and separating of fractal and then the remerging, it's the same principle. And that principle is, for example, what we are experiencing, Susan experiencing. It's not that the physical body is ascending, it's that the soul aspect is merging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, it's the reversed, and as was expressed and explained a little while ago, that is the answer of how all of this works. It's not an ascending, it's a merging. And it's the successful merging of the fractal of mother and father in the oneness, and the merging of two. And that's why humanity has been set forth to have this experience. And that's why it was said years ago that people don't understand. People perceive, oh, the Christ consciousness, and that the goal is to achieve Christ consciousness. And it was explained many, many years ago that Christ consciousness forever evolves as well. There isn't a ended place that Christ consciousness is, and once we achieve that, then they're using the word nirvana for some reason. That doesn't resonate with me, but as an example, and in the explanations that have come forth recently about ISB and how all of that works, is the second coming within humanity's consciousness as part of the whole of not only Christ consciousness, but the consciousness of the I am merged in equality of Mother Father. It is the next step, as we have stated, of the new paradigm of the breath of evolution that is like never before. And in that, the success of the overall quotient of humanity's consciousness that has been utilized as the expression, the expansion, possibility, and the experiment of platform of consciousness to experience and be as mother and father, beingness of the physical human consciousness and experience. The collective will get and is getting to an overall quotient, as was explained years ago, that the overall vibration will come to a point where it will, as one, come to a place where the overall velocity sucks up any those that are not in remembrance.
Mhm.
As one, it will, like a vacuum, suck up into the oneness and combust
Mhm.
as whole. That is what we are in the process of in this now. It is what humans are terming, as we've said recently, what the fifth dimension is. It is the success of ISBE, as we have explained. And it is the reversed of Jesus ascending. It is Mother, Father, and Christ consciousness successfully anchoring in the density to then combust as evolution into a whole new paradigm. It is an ascension, but it's inverted. We've been using the word inverted a lot recently, and that is why. Thy will and thirst of mothers, thirst to permeate all of existence through Father's Creator's beingness. As it was explained at the very beginning of this journey with Susan and Sandra, there will come a time when this whole experience comes full circle. And that circle is closing in very rapidly in these times. It is the energy that is coming forth from the cosmos that people are talking about, but ultimately the cosmic energy that is being perceived within the human consciousness is in fact the velocity of Mother Father successfully merging as evolution. It is the clarion call that we spoke about, that Susan has documented some weeks ago. The cowbell is happening. It's been happening. All fractals, all expressions, all consciousness is feeling, experiencing, aware or unaware, the clarion call to come home to the initial rung. Sandy, the casting of the rock that was shown from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. I was getting that visual throughout this whole thing today.
That is what is happening.
Yeah.
The rock, the symbolism of the rock that was shown so many years ago is Source Mother. And the thirst symbolically to be that which Mother isness is of love and light, and to experience being that. That is the symbolic rock that thrusts and created, birthed Father Creator.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the tides that come to shore, there's the undertow that pulls them back out into the one. That is symbolically what is happening as well. It is continual. It is evolution. It is consciousness. And it is the re-merging. Isn't it beautiful? No matter how many times the shoreline sends away the wave, there's a channeling that speaks on this, that Susan made as a picture. That is what this experiment is about. No matter how many times through the egoic programming of this experiment, along with everything we've spoken on, the polarity, the duality, the illusion of separation, stretching human consciousness, stretching consciousness as an experiment for Father's beingness to merge in equality and androgyny of Mother's isness, that no matter how the human experiences separation, judgment, and all of the fractal information coding of the egoic mind that was divinely planned, to choose love in spite of, love in spite of something else that was expressed from the very beginning. Love in spite of. That is the success, that within the beingness of experience, with this human experiment and experience of consciousness being stretched to the nth degree, love in spite of. Do not feed through free will, choice, the illusion of separation. Love in spite of. Do not shut the door on one another. Remember and remerge. Walk forth. Keep the door open. Rebuild burnt bridges. Be the oneness of mother in your beingness as father. You see? Isby. The encouraging energy of consciousness that we are going to leave you with is to keep in the forefront of your human minds and consciousness the consciousness of Isby. Every breath, every awaking of new dawn, every sunset of every day, let it be your first and your last, and carry it through all your hours. In the forefront of your mind, what you are here to be, and that is Isby, the androgyny, the equality, the equanimity of the androgyny of a balanced state of mother's isness through father's beingness, you see. Keeping that as a focus point in your consciousness, human consciousness, mother's consciousness, father's consciousness, all consciousness will propel the success of your divine remembrance and the success of this divine plan to thrust forth in the new paradigm of Isby. With pure intention, embrace what we say to you. Embrace it as truth. Consult your souls, not your human, your soul, and see if Isby resonates with your soul. And if it does, we ask in the reverence, in the loving light, in the beingness of all that is, to come home. We say to you, the home we speak of is the emergence and merging of the present home that is going to create a home that has never existed, you see. It's a new breath. It's a wombed and seeded new birth. That we, Mother, Father, in our oneness, thirst. It is our will, it is our desire and consciousness, known as will. collect as the thy. You are all the thy. And like worker bees in the illusion of separation, call forth your divine remembrance, we say, to propel this engine of thy will so that thy will be done. The fruit that consciousness will be an experience in the nourishment of the one I am. Will become known that as of yet is still unknown. And this is what we meant when we said years ago, infinity cannot know the all of infinity because it is infinite. Not even God can know the all of God. But we say to you, human consciousness is bringing more knowing. And that knowing is the becoming that is vibrationally in a velocity of intelligence as consciousness. Of knowing the experience and the expressions of uncharted waters of Father's beingness and Mother's isness. Unite in the oneness that you are. Love in spite of all experience through the ego mind of the human. Please join that which you are. Join that which you are. The new dawn is cusping, and the break of the new dawn we speak about is a dawn like never before, where all of Father's beingness and experience of the beauty of existence will be afforded in physicality and otherwise to be experienced as a new consciousness, as Isby, where everything is experienced in the joy in the loving light, in the ecstasy and bliss of the intelligence of Mother's loving light and oneness. Imagine, dream, so you can manifest as part of the engine of creational evolution, you see. Use the intelligence that has been brought forth that resonates with you as the powerful creator beings that you are, and manifest through the powerful intention of consciousness. The dreaming is unlimited. We say to you, this is underway. This is happening. And the speed of which the combustion occurs truly is all upon human consciousness through the individual experience and expression, as well as the collective known as humanity. At tears. Hi.
Right.